All right, you guys, good morning. Welcome to the breakfast, the biscuit bar for breakfast. Okay, first and foremost, I want you to know, as you guys know, one of my favorite things in the whole world is Mike's Hot Honey. So when I came here, they have a hot honey biscuit that is a chicken biscuit. I have a chicken biscuit with Mike's Hot Honey. Hold on, let me fix my phone. So I thought, for the sake of just being here this morning, we could do a little breakfast. Sorry, my phone is like not having it today. My phone is like, listen, Linda, we've done too much this weekend. And I'm like, no, we really have. I have snapped so much. Who's on my Snapchat? My Snap is fire. Okay, so the first thing I ordered was their breakfast tater tots. And it's tater tots, chocolate gravy, green onions. I love green onions. Cheese, and of course I had to add ketchup. So let's taste these. Okay. Their tater tots are not quite crunchy enough for me, so I give them like a 7. They're good. They're just like, I wish they were just like a little bit crispier. But not everybody likes their shit burnt. Just me. The green onions, of course, are a 10 to me. Their gravy is like a 6.5. I mean, it's not that I don't like their gravy. It's just not, it needs to be like, so I love gravy that has a lot of flavor. I love it when it has like a lot of pepper, and you can just, with every bite, like, you can just really taste the flavors. And their gravy's pretty bland, especially like if you're from Louisiana or somewhere south where when you eat gravy it has like, does anybody else love gravy that you could just eat with a spoon? So I like a chocolate gravy or a southern gravy that has a lot of substance. So I'm just gonna say I give these like overall a 6.5 because, one, potato tots are okay. They have okay flavor, but they're not that crunchy. And then the gravy is pretty bland, but the onions and cheese and ketchup make it a meal. Like, I would eat this again just because I love green onions, and anytime you put, you know, big green onions, I love them. So it's a 6.5 for me. So if you come here, you can try it, but this bad boy right here is a whole other vibe. This is a hot honey biscuit, and it is organic chicken breast, which I love, that they have like good quality. It's like good quality chicken. Let's just try the biscuit first, because I'm funny about biscuits. Okay. Listen, my phone is still being a little bitch. But listen, the biscuit is good. It's okay. It's a 7. The honey is a 10. Let's try it all together. I mean, my phone doesn't want to do this today. So I give it an 8.5. What I will tell you is the meal that I had last night at Risky's, I give a 10. Last night we went to Risky's Steakhouse. If you come to the Stockyards, because I have had so many people on Snap that have never been to the Stockyards that were like, I had no idea that Fort Worth was like that. Like, if you have a family and you have not been to the Fort Worth Stockyards, bring your kids. I am a 10:30, 11 o'clock to bed kind of person, and I don't bar hop. Like, I am not going to pay a cover charge to get in somewhere that's overcrowded, that people are secretly smoking, and I'm going to have a migraine, and I have to pay for drinks. It's not happening. I don't do bars. I don't do establishments that their sole purpose is for you to drink alcohol. So I don't care if it's a local bar, a pool hall, I don't do it. I don't like the energy, I don't like the vibration, and I don't believe that those places have any good come from them. And I think that that stems from me losing my high school boyfriend in a car wreck, drunk. He wasn't even driving. So listen, I just don't do it. So I've always, like, metaphysically, spiritually speaking, have always focused on, like, if I go to like a super bougie restaurant and I want to have a glass of wine, like, so I don't mean to be hypocritical, but I don't do bars. So I cannot help you, unfortunately, with the bar scene here, because I'm going to tell you, at 11 o'clock when everybody had started to become inebriated, I was like headed for my hotel room. Like, I was headed for the hotel room. I'm like that in New Orleans. I love Mardi Gras. I love the parades. I love to be down there during the day when everybody's dancing. I love it. 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 But 9:30, 10 o'clock New Orleans, I'm headed for the hotel room. Like, I am headed for the hotel room, period. Like, I am sprinting for the hotel room, and there's just no way around that. I don't know why. Like, I'm sure that, no, it's the energy. It's like people's energy. It is. So for those of you who are like, I want to come to Fort Worth and go to all the bars, listen, there are so many bars. I know you would love it. There was like such an incredible nightlife happening about the time that I was running for my hotel room. But the daytime stuff here is very kid friendly. They have a mule that pulls a wagon. They have 2 stage coaches. During the day and night, they have various like carriages, and you can ride the carriage all over, and it's very peaceful. They also have a train for kids that drives all over the brick path, and it's like it's got a little, a little engine, and then like maybe 4 or 5 little club cars behind it. And anyway, the kids can get in it, and it'll drive you all throughout the Stockyards. They actually have several real train rides. You can ride from Grapevine and back on like an old-timey locomotive. The shopping is great. But I can tell you that from first thing in the morning until, about 9:30, it is super kid-friendly. And that was something people were asking, is like, oh, I know that Fort Worth has a lot of bars. No, the daytime attractions, also, on Friday and Saturday, you can go to the rodeo here. I don't have any desire to go watch a rodeo, but if you're not somebody that, if you're not me and you want to go to the rodeo is fantastic. I've heard they have a great halftime, like, show. The biggest thing I can tell you is they have, like, longhorns set up that you can ride and take photos. They also have a shootout. I think it's on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can look. And they have a shootout here in town. So if you have kids, obviously they dress up, they role play. It's fantastic. So Jacob and I will probably bring Tinley back. This is something I was kind of doing, and you know me, I'm like always alone. So the baby daddy was like, all right, like, he was really good. You know what? Can we give Jacob a round of applause? Like, let's give Jacob a round of applause for this weekend. Yes, send stars. Because he went to the coffee shop with me and sat for over an hour in the coffee shop, and he found organic black tea with a splash of lemon that he absolutely loves. And he literally said today, the first thing he said, we walk in the door and he was like, ew, they have your gross, weird mineral water here. My crazy water. Number 4, not number 1, not number 2, not number 3. I drink mineral water number 4, which if you know anything about crazy water, you're like, ooh, bitch, like, the fuck wrong with you? And I'm like, no, really, like, really. I drink crazy water number 4. If you don't know what crazy water number 4 is, I want to introduce you to it because it's from Mineral Wells, Texas, and a wonderful friend of mine named Mindy is like the Chamber of Commerce PR event girl. I met her through Morgan, who worked for me, and Mindy and I became quick friends, and now she's one of my closest connections in life, and she is such a successful, amazing person. So she works for the Chamber of Commerce. She does like all the public relations and like city planning. She has an amazing job. But the crazy water is from Mineral Wells, and they sell variations of it. Like you can buy Mineral Wells Crazy Water 1, which I don't know what color that one is. I don't think I've ever seen. I think 2 is black, 3 is green, 4 is red. And it's the mineralization content in each one. Most people start out with 2 and drink, because it's very alkaline water directly from their springs. They start with 2, move up to 3. No, I just jumped in. I was like mineral water number 4. But it has crazy healing properties. Like, I make no money off of selling it to you guys, so I can just tell you, like, for me, I bought a case as soon as I hurt my elbow, because if you have any kind of infection, or I have friends that cannot stand to drink it, but when they're sick, they'll order 2 or 3 bottles and drink them while they're sick. It's completely alkaline, and the mineral content in that water is so high, and it's from a natural source of minerals, which is the springs of Mineral Wells, which it's called Mineral Wells, Texas. So that should tell you right there, like, they named the freaking city after the minerals. So their crazy water is fantastic, and you can go on Amazon, and I think a case of 9 is around $60. So this is not the most affordable thing I'm ever going to recommend to you, but I can tell you, if you will buy yourself a case of crazy water, maybe start with number 3. Don't jump off, because when you drink it even cold, it feels thick. Like, as you drink it, you can feel it, because it has so many mineral properties in it. But I think that it has healing properties, and I'm a weirdo, as I drink my unsweet tea and plain coffee with nothing in it. I can drink things like that, and I love it. Like, I crave crazy water. I crave cold crazy water so bad now. It's like an obsession, but I manifest when I drink it. And I know this sounds really crazy, but they did a study, and I was telling a friend of mine the other day about this. Him and I had breakfast, and so, like, after we had breakfast, I gave him 2 bottles of it, and I was like, here, and he took a big drink, and he was like, it's not that bad. He was like, I don't know what I was expecting, but not this. And I'm like, so listen, they did a study where our body is made up of like 70 to 80% water, right? Right. Okay, so they did a study to where they put, like, NASA put water underneath, like, this crazy microscope, and they said horrible things to it, or they said positive things to it. And the structure of the water cells and the alkaline levels of the water changed in each group. So it's been proven that water can give life. So I just do really, my biggest thing to make it quick and simple for those of you that are into this kind of thing, that are sitting there going, when you get water, and crazy water is a great source. So spend the $60. I think you might be able to get it a little cheaper, but you get like 9, and they're big bottles. They're not little. You can order the gallons of it though much cheaper if you want to just pour it into a glass, and make sure it's in a clink glass, not plastic. So the first thing I always do is I drink crazy water while I do my morning mantras. Who on here, and I want you to literally type out for me, I have a morning mantra, or I have a mantra. How many of you guys actually every morning wake up and do the, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am losing weight, my skin is amazing, my butt looks fantastic, my cellulite, I don't have cellulite. Like, how many of you people do this? Am I the only one? Like, the one thing that I learned when I started watching Gabrielle Bernstein is she was so big on like positive affirmation talk. And one time she went live on Facebook, and it was in the morning for her routine. And she was like, the first thing I do when I wake up, and she was like, I am thin, I am healthy, I am structured. And she was like, she starts with the things that she struggles with. Like, so I tell myself sometimes I am organized, and I still laugh sometimes because it's getting so much better. I was the most disorganized, and my problem is I am super naturally disorganized. Then my OCD kicks in, and then I have anxiety because I am disorganized, but like naturally, but I'm a Virgo, so I want everything to be perfect. And I got to where I was just paying people to organize stuff for me, but it wasn't organized my way. So then my OCD would be even more angry. Oh, it was horrible. So I just started with the I am organized. I know where everything is. I throw my trash away as soon as, because I am bad to like just sit this down and go, and then I come back and there's trash on my desk and I'm like, nah, when I should have just thrown it away in that second. Like, I know for some of you that are so structured, you're gonna be like, that's just adult behavior, Tara. But some of us aren't naturally, I mean, like, let's just be honest, I spent my 20s being a fucktard, so I think I was like naturally structured. Calm down, Karen. I still have to remind myself to throw the bubblegum wrapper away as soon as I open the bubblegum. Like, that's just me. So I just started with the morning mantras of like, I am organized. I am, you know, I throw my trash away. Now I take my car 3 or 4 days a week and I wash it, and then I throw all the trash out of it and vacuum it. I keep my vehicle immaculate. I have cleared space for healthy emotions. Like, I say things to myself in the morning that maybe to other people might not make sense, but I just start with whatever my weak points are. And I never say I don't or I can't or anything like that, because the universe doesn't understand do and don't. It just understands you said. So I don't want to be disorganized. I would never use that phrase, because all the universe here is disorganized. So I am organized. I am healthy. I am calm. I choose my words wisely. I listen before I speak. I just do these really fulfilling mantras while I drink my crazy water, because I just think that those positive affirmations spoke into that purely alkaline, high vibrational, extremely mineral filled water just makes that manifest and come to life stronger. But if you don't have crazy water, get you some crazy water. It's amazing, honestly. And while this is probably the most unhealthy meal that I've had all week, you have to try the chicken biscuits. They're amazing. They're amazing. And not only are they amazing, hold on. Risky's last night. So we started out with calf fries. Of course, calf fries are amazing. For those of you who don't know, they're testicles. They are literal calf testicles. They are fantastic. You dip them in cocktail sauce or gravy. I love calf fries. Followed up with, I did their 9-ounce filet. Of course, I eat my steak medium well, which drives everyone nuts. For those of you who don't know, when I was pregnant with Tinley, I almost lost her. And then I had placenta previa really bad, which was just a whole other thing. And I was about 5 months pregnant, and I was eating my steak medium rare. Yeah, more rare probably than medium. And I cut into it, and the blood ran out of the steak across the plate into my mashed potatoes and like turned my mashed potatoes pink. And in that moment, it ruined me. I'm telling you, I had to be excused from the table. I sat in the car crying. I do not know what was wrong with me. And still to this day, if I cut into a steak and blood runs out, I can't eat it. So what I can tell you about Riskies is when you start to eat your meat kind of a medium to a medium well, I got it butterflied. It was incredible. But you have to have somebody that really can cook a steak, because it's so easy for people to overcook it, cook the flavor out. It has to be an incredible cut of meat. Like, I can't hardly eat a sirloin anymore, because once you get them medium or better, they just lose they lose their worth. So of course I have to do fillets. I have to have them butterflied. They have to be the best cut of meat. So I'm like telling the waitress, like, you tell the cook back there to pick me the best cut fillet back there. I need it butterflied. I'm gonna need this sucker medium well. But I wanted to have a lot of, oh my God, it was the best fillet. And then I did corn and a sweet potato. So when you come to the Stockyards, go to Risky's. You will thank me. Their food is amazing. Risky's is better than H3. They will tell you that, they'll tell you there's Risky's barbecue, there's Cattleman's, there's H3. There's a lot of restaurants here, but I'm telling you, from me to you, the best steakhouse in the Stockyards, hands down, is Risky's. Just trust me, because I'm like a connoisseur of meat. Like, I can tell you that their buffalo ribeye is also probably the best thing that you'll ever have, hands down. I just definitely didn't want that big of a meal last night. And, they have homemade Catalina dressing there. It's amazing. They hand make their dressings. Their ranch is okay. I like runny ranch. Like, I so should have been from the Midwest, because, like, if you're from the Midwest, you understand the difference between, like, ranch dressing, buttermilk ranch dressing, and, like, that tangy runny ranch that, like, you dip pizza in. That's like, oh, the best runny ranch in the world comes from Mazzio's Pizza. And we have a lot of those in Oklahoma. I don't know if anybody else has Mazzio's, but we don't have it around Troop. And it's devastating, because I love pizza with ranch dressing, but I like runny ranch. Anybody here, hit the like button if you're from the Midwest and you know what runny ranch is. Because most people, I say that and I'm like, yeah, but is it runny ranch or is it like thick ranch? And they're like, what? And I'm like, runny ranch, don't you know? They don't know. I see some of you guys, you know. I love it. Oh, there's just a difference. Like, not all ranch dressings are created the same, and if you don't know the difference, I can't help you. But I can tell you, you're totally missing out. If you don't know what runny ranch is, you are totally missing out. So anyway, I ordered food, and I'm telling you that I have been eating so healthy and doing so much better that this is where my appetite is in life. Like, I used to be able to finish everything, like finish it, eat it, need seconds, and now, so I don't really have to watch what I eat, which is better, and I'm still losing weight. I feel so much better. You guys, I really fought the losing weight thing because I felt like I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, the other day, I posted some videos of me riding Squirt, and I love him so much, and I just enjoy riding him. And you guys probably have seen that I brought my jump course home, and I've been riding English a little bit, and I brought all my tall boots from my mom's and dug out all of my breeches and, you know, ordered some new, really, really cute. Man, the Piper breeches are cute, you English girls. I don't know what I expected, but when I got to shopping for new breeches, I will tell you, who on here rides English? If you ride English, hit the like button or the love button real quick, because I want to show you. I found some breeches, and I bought them because they're called the Terra breeches. I'm not even kidding, but I want to show them to you because you need to listen to me. I want you to run as fast as you can. Do not walk. And they're spelt like my name, T-A-R-A. And this is where I got them. I got mine off of Equinava. They are high-waisted, black, full-seat breeches. And when I tell you that they snatch that fucking waistline and make your booty pop, listen, honey, I don't give a shit if you are a size 2 or if you are a size fucking 20. I wear a 32 in them, and mine are just a little bit... just a little bit big now. Like, they're good, but by the time I'm done riding, I feel like, so I probably am fixing to go down to a size 30 because I started in a 32 and I am losing weight. But they have every color but the black ones. They also have back pockets. Like, can I just get an amen for breeches with back pockets? Okay, so this is what they look like in the front. Super high-waisted. They have the 4 buttons. And then this is what they look like in the back, and they freaking have back pockets. I'm telling you, and they're called the Terra. So make sure, here we go. Here's like the whole little spin around of them. Look at them. Look at them. The only thing that I can tell you that I don't love as much as I thought I would is I ride very forward. I think I told you guys before that when I rode for Equiglobe, when I learned how to really ride English, not just like local lessons at the little barn in El Paso, but when I really started, Hartman put me on horses that were way too much for me from the time I was 12, 13 years old on up. So I started going over, and like before I worked for them, I spent a couple of months just going over and riding, and it was kind of a, you know, kind of a win-win, I guess, for me, but then it turned into a paid position. But I can tell you that I ride elbows out, like super, kind of a little too much arc in my back, like, and it's just natural now because I did it for so many years. I have like a very working look to me. Like I would never make a hunter rider. You know, I don't even think I could probably make a dressage rider. Like outside of riding Grand Prix jumping horses, like my form is probably atrocious to most people. But it stems from me riding horses that were way too much for a tiny 100-pound human for years. So I ride really, really forward, and I don't ride over my hands because those big horses were so big that if I ever got over my hands, they would snatch me. So I'm very, like over fences, I'm very, like I'll throw their head to them almost a little too soon. And a lot of times I used to anticipate the jerk so bad that he used to have to holler at me because I would get a horse to jump from their big spot. And so I loved it because, I mean, I would let a sucker fly in there and really jump from a big spot because I was so little and I was dreading that jerk because they were too big, they were too strong, I was way over-mounted, but they needed exercised, and he used to, so it got to where I was having to hold those horses and really bring them back to get them up to the jump instead of letting them fly from a big spot. And so now I can tell, now that I ride horses that are a little greener and they're not too much for me, like all the holes, even at it's 35 and I haven't ridden English in forever. I was 20 something when I stopped. So we'll just say 10 years minimum. You know, I've really not ridden English much, and I can see all the holes in my form and where it's just muscle memory because of being over-mounted for so long. But where I'm going with that statement is I'm not a huge fan of the silicone full seat or the silicone knee patches because I learned when I was young to be so forward. I don't like feeling so stuck, but these are not bad. Like, I will be really honest, I almost didn't buy them because they have the silicone full seat, and I was like, man, I don't really want that like stuck feeling. And for those of you who don't know, I ride a Prestige. My saddle is a Prestige Meredith, and it's probably my favorite saddle I've ever ridden. It's fantastic. So I just feel totally free in that saddle, and I love the way it sits. And I've thought about several times maybe upgrading and going to something else, but man, that saddle just, have you ever had a saddle that just fits you like a glove? Whoever broke it in did a good job. So when I got in it just had a glove feel to it. If you're starting to ride English, the best thing I can tell you is contact somebody that is a trainer and purchase one of their used saddles, because one, I can tell you that if you have a lot of issues in your seat and you're trying to break a saddle in, you will break that saddle in wrong. I won't buy saddles from amateurs. I won't buy saddles from novice riders. I won't buy saddles that have been in lesson programs because those saddles have been broke in a way that there's no sweet spot. So what I learned when I was in my teens, having to always buy used stuff, I would rather buy the best quality, extremely used saddle that was broke in perfectly, because it will help you to know where that soft sweet spot is where you should be. And my Prestige Meredith was a demo, but it was demoed it was demoed by professional Grand Prix riders. Like, it was sent, like the people that it had been sent to were all extreme professionals, and you can tell that it's just got such a balanced place where it was broke in. that when I get in it, I know where I'm supposed to be. And I can tell when I get a little forward or a little behind because that saddle has such a good spot broke in. So those of you who ride English, you may not agree. You may agree. A lot of people buy new saddles, but I won't even hardly buy a brand new saddle because I don't trust my equitation at this point to break it in. And like, I'm afraid I will break it in a little forward or a little backward, you know, and then that's where it'll be really broke in. And I'll naturally want to go to that spot. And since I'm not riding with a trainer a lot, I want to not do that. I want to not get too forward or too behind. So when I get in my Prestige, though, that Meredith, where it's broken, is just fantastic. Jacob bought me that saddle for Christmas. I think it was maybe $3,200. But anyway, honestly, I wish I could find another, and I have not been able to find another one. Not that's in great shape and not extremely used, and I'm sure I maybe could do a brand new one. I need to look on their site because I think I'm fixing to get a dressage saddle. That's a whole other thing. There is a trainer that just moved to Bullard, Texas, which is like 30 minutes from us, and I contacted them last week about maybe starting to go over for lessons, maybe like 1 or 2 days a week, and they do 3-day eventing, and I just thought that would be so much fun. And I really hate it because I feel like Cabernet could have really been, or is going to be, let me say, I feel like Cabernet is going to be an outstanding, like, lower level horse for somebody that wants to have that really upper level movements, but a big drafty type horse. I really am excited about him, and he's so soft in the face. But I also have Javi. So anyway, I called, and I'm on the hunt. So just if you happen to see a really good quality, maybe a used, but be mindful about who used it, dressage saddle, you know, budget's $3,000 or under. I don't want to go over $3,000. Maybe if I sold some of my tall boots, I have a really odd sized foot. I wear a 6, and over the years, anytime people would buy tall, I actually have a wide calf. So a 6 wide calf is kind of an odd size, and I have been able to buy, like, not just demos, but like the last pair in stock of a certain brand because the 6 wide or extra wide calf never sells. So I have a dozen pair of tall boots, and they're all like $500 to $1,200 boots. I have De Niro's and just really cool boots, but I always got them because they were like the last one of that, but it was the only one left, and it just happened to be my size. So I really have a collection of tall boots, and I thought the other day, I was like, man, even if I just sold a couple of pair, I could probably turn around and upgrade like my English bridles, or I don't know. I was just doing, then I look at them and I love them. I have purple and pink, and what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? But I've worked really hard, you know, and I think it's cool. I think it's cool. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen my helmet. This week I probably will take a couple of videos of me writing English just to post on TikTok and to share with you guys. And the first person that complains about my form or my horse or something, you're getting blocked, because I feel like as adults, we just want to be kids again. Like, I just want to ride my horse English and set my little jump course up and jump some little cross rails. And I don't care if I got a little behind and my heels came up. Like, yes, I'm going to see it in the video too, Karen. I'm going to go home and practice and work on it. Thank you for calling it to my attention. But you have the people that like want to attack your form. Like, oh, I would be so embarrassed if I had posted this. Why can't we just love people where they are? Do you guys ever feel that way? How many of you guys have a hobby and you love it and you just enjoy it and it feels so good to you, but you don't share it with the public? And you should, because of criticism. Nobody wants to be ridiculed. Like, there's a difference. And so I don't know. I just hide all of the fun stuff that I do sometimes because I don't want the public. And it's not that I don't want to get better. there is a fine line between I don't want to get better and I'm just happy where I am being wrong, and I really am just having to build muscle back that I don't have, and I'm working really hard, and I do have a trainer, thank you so much, you know, that kind of thing. I sometimes look on TikTok on some of the girls that post the videos of them jumping, and 90% of the comments are 13-year-old girls, like, just annihilating their form, their horse. Like, one girl, her horse kind of chipped in, like, I could tell he rushed in, started to set at a big spot. She kind of tried to get a hold of him, and then he missed the spot and kind of chipped in, like over a fence. And people were like, you did that to him. No, that horse rushed her. And when she went to correct him, he overreacted. And then it kind of put him up there like in a spot too close because he was going to try to jump from a big spot. She was trying to hang on to him to just make him take one, you know, not even a stride. I'm talking like just a step, you know, not even a full. And then he just kind of stuttered, and then he chipped in from a really close spot. And these people in the comments were like dragging her for filth. And I was like, this is why good horses get ruined, and we see horses for sale that were fantastic. And I mean, the comments were like, can you imagine being like a 16-year-old girl and having enough feel that you felt that horse rush you, you felt that was not right, you got a hold of him to try to correct him, and then he just kind of panicked and he took a couple stutter steps and he chipped in, still made the fence, it was fine. I understand as hunters, y'all are like, ah! But for those of us who rode jumpers, we're like, hey, it worked. That worked to get by that fence, and now we go home and we improve on it. These people never saw the good in it. They never saw this 16-year-old kid had enough feel to understand she was being rushed, to understand that horse was going to try to take this from a really big spot, and that she just kind of reached and got him, and he just kind of, you know, we've all seen them where they do and when he did that, it just caused his feet to shuffle, and he was way close, and then he just chipped in, and I thought it was rode beautifully. Like, I'm sure she posted it, because I'm sure when she came out, her trainer said what I said, like, good job, like, you felt him rush you, like, good job, like, these are all the things you did correctly. Then you post it to the internet because you're like, look, I actually, like, I felt this and I corrected him, and people are like, ew, that's atrocious. My trainer would have jerked me off. She would have blown the whistle at me. And I'm like, hi, I'm Tara. Like, the internet makes me do this. Like, I don't even know. I'm telling you. So, like, I put my breeches on and my tall boots, and the funniest thing is, and this is the honest to God truth, I have been, and I know that this is going to sound stupid, and I have to confess this because everybody's going to laugh, but even around my own staff, because I ride Western and we ride together, and I'm always kind of barking. When I ride English, since I haven't ridden it in so long, and I haven't been getting a lot of time in the saddle, I brought everything home to be able to ride at home. I had been driving to take lessons on someone else's horse. I'd put my breeches on, put my tall boots on, get my little helmet, and go. And the people there, I just paid for about 5, I think I went 5 weeks, and just rode, and I just didn't say a whole lot. I just told them. And the 3rd week I was there, she came to me and she said, I know who you are. And she said, yeah, like, I thought the first time you came for lessons, you looked familiar, and I couldn't put my hand on it. And she was like, last week when you came, I couldn't really put my hand on it. And listen, I just went just in the mornings, and I didn't say anything to y'all, and I didn't say anything to my staff. I just wanted a little bit of confidence and just a little bit of coaching, but I didn't want anybody to be able to, like, so the 3rd week I went, she was like, you are the girl from Facebook, like, you're Tara. She's like, you know, obviously she knows Tara. She's like, but you are the one that rehomes all the horses. And I was like, okay. And she was like, listen, she was like, I watched you before a little bit, and a student of ours that boarded here that moved closer to Dallas had a horse from you, and we got to talking about that student. And anyway, I just felt like the energy changed, not in a manner for her, like she was still so nice to me, but I just felt like for me, instead of me showing up there and just getting to like take my lesson and just being a nobody, all of a sudden I felt judged. In my own mind, this trainer did nothing. So the next week when I came, the first thing was like, oh my gosh, I've been watching your videos and I love this horse and he's fantastic. And I said, yeah, I'm really loving him, and I'm riding him in a Western saddle, but I'm taking these lessons to prepare myself because I think I want to ride Javi English. I own him, and I really enjoy that big horse, and I've had some offers to buy him, and I haven't sold him. And I haven't sold him because I just really, I want to ride him. Like I selfishly want to ride him. And she was like, oh my gosh, yes, he's beautiful. And so then she kind of talked to me about some stuff in my videos. And anyway, it was fine. So that was week 4. And again, I felt very like week 5. Get out, go in, saddle my horse. I'm warming up. She comes out, we're talking. And she's like, yeah, I've been talking to the other trainer here, and she showed me that hate group, and I just cannot believe that those people say those things about you. And like, I was done. And I just, when we were done, I was like, hey, next week I'm super busy. I'm not going to be able to make my lesson. And in fact, like, we've gotten so swamped that I'm just going to have to revisit this because right now I really can't make time. And it was a lie. And the truth is that I just felt so uncomfortable that now that this person like knew that I was from the internet and started watching my videos, that didn't bother, like I could handle that and stomach that. I just felt like as I am taking lessons from a 28-year-old girl, you know, like I'm trying to better my skill. It's so important to have eyes on you to help you. But when she brought up like the hate group and that somebody in that barn had showed like, this is supposed to be like something I'm doing for me. And the last thing I want to talk about is anything going on in my life. Like, I want you to treat me like you don't know me. And I don't. And it wasn't like they said, oh, we saw your hate group and you're not welcome here. It was nothing. It was more like, we just cannot believe they say those things. And like, oh my gosh, like you've been so kind. And like, Cordell, get off my video. You broke our snap streak. We're not friends anymore. All you had to do was send me a picture. You sent me 11 memes yesterday. How do you send me 11 memes from anything about sucking dick to freaking whatever, and you can't just take a picture of your damn dash? So for those of you who don't know, my top 8 on Snapchat are people that I snap, and I have an app on my phone that controls all of my social medias. So like when I go to put a video out or something like that, it asks me like what platforms. So it'll show me like that it's submitting it to Facebook, it's submitting it to the other Facebook, it's submitting it to TikTok. And then it'll ask me if I want to adjust the clip on TikTok to 15 seconds, 60 seconds, 3 minutes. There's now 10-minute videos. So then I'll sit and like adjust the clip of the video to fit TikTok. And then it'll ask me about Instagram, and I'll adjust the clip for Instagram. But hear me out, you guys. On the bottom, when it says like adjust to snap, do you want to snap this? It'll show me my top 8, and it says favorite people. There's actually the top 8 plus 2 extras, so it's 10 people. And I always select certain things to send to those people, but it gets snap streaks going. And I am telling you that if somebody in my life lets a snap streak end, I don't want to be your friend no more. Poor Cordell, he's just asleep at home not knowing this is going on, and the amount of restraint that it kept for me to call him at 11 o'clock last night and wake him up and be like, I need you to get out of the bed and send me a photograph of your floor. Like, Cordell, I need you to wake up right now. Cordell, get up. Listen, send me a picture of the ceiling. I'm telling y'all what, you have to admit I am a different breed. So anyway, I quit going to that stable, and like, she still watches videos, and I finally yesterday, and the reason I brought it up in this video is I finally yesterday just very guilty sent her a text, and I said, hey, I do want to get back into lessons. I found a barn in Bullard that I may go ride at, but I want you to know that I appreciate the job you did. Like, you're an incredible trainer. I just got uncomfortable, like, when my hate group got mentioned. She literally texted me back and was like, I wondered about that because the energy changed between us that day. And she was like, I am so sorry. She was like, I still follow everything. She was like, it was incredibly naive of me. Like, I've never had anybody else in my life that had a hate group, so I'm so sorry. And you know what? She was right. Like, I told her, no, like, you're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong in the way you handled it. Like, I appreciate that what you were trying to say is that you saw those things, you don't believe them. And she said, more than that, I just think that I wanted to show you support. To like, that was her. When she brought it up, she was trying to show me support. And my friend showed me this, and like, I can't believe they say this, like, fuck them. But for me, just the thought of it, because here's the thing, like, the internet is not real to me. And let me explain why. The internet to me is just, it's the internet. So things I put out there, you guys see, and until you come into my real life and affect my real life, it's just kind of like, it's the internet, you know, like fake news, people can say anything they want. They can write, the people at Horse Authorities write articles all the time that have no substance to them. There's no truth to them. Like, it's complete lies. But they put it out there, and then people read it and believe it because they read it when it has no truth behind it. So the internet can say and do anything with no truth. I mean, it's why Donald Trump, like, freaked out and was like, fake news, fake news. But what we need to do and remember is that this is still my real life. So when you take things off the internet, and if you ever meet me in person, if you see me in person, please, I'm begging you, come give me a hug. I used to beg for people, if you see me in public, please just leave me be. Like, I am not a celebrity. And about a year ago, that started to change. And I'm telling you now, yesterday, Jacob and I were both approached by multiple people here in the Stockyards that were like, you're Tara and Jacob, and I watch y'all. And I'm like, oh my God, listen, I don't do it. These snatch you. Oh my God, I have to know about them. They're the website Tech Riding Leggings. Okay, so my friend Haley is watching this video, and she's a thick queen. I love her. It's nothing like, we're thick queens. Okay, these are called Maximilian Equestrian Tech Riding Leggings 2.0 in the black. They're 79 pounds, so they're probably like 99 US dollars. They have side pockets, and she said they snatch you, which just basically means that for those of us that have the booty and that we have the thighs and we need to keep the middle, keep the middle slim, so we've got that silhouette that's giving main character energy, we need some shit that snatches us, because us thick queens that have got the booty and the boobies and the thighs also sometimes have a little junk in the love handle in the middle. If you go on 10% off coupon, they are super cute. I can tell you, I would have never bought these without her recommendation, and I'm ordering them now because the model that they have in them doesn't have a butt. So I would have never been like, oh yeah, these will definitely work for a big queen, because they're not on a big queen. They're on a no bootied queen. And I could get like, I could get one thigh and a butt cheek in the entire pair of leggings that she has on. So I'm glad that she tried these in. Leggings from Horse come in all the colors. I just love black because black definitely slims you. The other color I have in them, though, that I really am living for is I ordered this color. Because if most of you probably know that I have a lot of purple tall boots. But I have a pair of crocodile. I have a beautiful pair of De Niro's. I think that's how you pronounce it. And they have like a green, like a forest green, no, like a like not khaki, like maybe an army green gaiter down the side, and the toe is. And I went ahead and did their aqua gray. And for whatever reason, these absolutely are stunning. They are stunning. And I did this pair because I have a really beautiful pair. I have a really beautiful pair of tall boots that have purple on them, and I love them. And so I went ahead and did the white, and I wear them with my purple tall boots. So I have those colors. And I'll tell you that I've been wanting to try the Red Rouge, which is not even red. It's more of like it's this color, and I've been wanting to try these. I just haven't yet. I haven't. I don't need to be spending $99 on breeches every time I turn around. So I found the white pair on Poshmark used, I think. I just typed in like horse size 32 full seat Terra breeches, and I was able to buy the white ones and the aqua like colored ones. Jacob just snapped me. I was able to buy them used, and I got them for $50 each pair from one girl, and I'm pretty sure they were on Poshmark. The only ones I bought new were the black ones. Now remember this, if you buy stuff brand new, if you buy stuff brand spanking new, still do it. But if you buy used things, when I get them home, let me tell you what I do. Who's ready for some more weirdness? Right here. I have a couple of bells. I keep bells on all the door handles in my house. But anytime I buy something used, I take sage, and I either sage spray it or I sage it. I will literally wrap them up, put a clear selenite and a Palo Santo in them, wrap them up, roll them up, put each one, and I will just let them sit like in my energy in my house with Palo Santo and selenite, like a selenite stick and a Palo Santo stick, like rolled up together next to each other. And I'll just let them sit in my house for like a week, and then I'll just wash them, and then I feel like the energy is good. Sometimes if I feel like I opened a box and the vibration was bad for some reason, I will not only roll an item up with the Palo Santo and the selenite, like in it rolled up, I'll sit them on the hood of my car under the full moon. I will not touch them. Again, I'll leave them until there's a full moon. And when there's a full moon, I'll just sit it on the hood of my car with the Palo Santo and the selenite underneath the full moon, because I feel like the full moon just drives out darkness. Like, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that, and the full moon just really has such a strong presence. So like the last full moon we had, I had like items all over the front of my car that I had like collected used, that I was waiting to introduce to my life. And a couple of items that were not new to me that just needed cleansed. So if you ever have an item, and I tell people with their rodeo shirts, if you have a rodeo shirt and it is giving you bad vibes and you make bad runs every time you wear that shirt, don't throw the fucking shirt away, throw the energy away. Like, don't throw the shirt away, just get rid of the energy. Take that shirt, roll Palo Santo and selenite, and stick that motherfucker outside underneath the full moon and tell it, you're gonna get right, and I am gonna win in you. You are gonna be my lucky shirt. You are amazing. You possess powerful energy. When I put you on, like, I'm gonna harness whole new energy that's gonna make me have softer hands, a better feel. I'm gonna have quicker responses. Like, when I put you on, you are going to give me life. And I'm telling you, you will turn the energy around in your garments. How many people watch my videos and think I'm insane, but you're intrigued, so you stay. Hit the like button. It's okay. Imagine living with me. Imagine being my friend in real life and being like, you're so weird, but I just can't get enough of it. That's how my friends feel. They're like, you're the weirdest person I know, but I can't get enough of it. And now they're intrigued. They're like, I don't know what to do with you, but I like it. Everybody in my life feels that way. But how many of you? What's weird to me is so many of you will admit to owning a piece of clothing or owning something that you felt like brought bad luck. How many of you guys have thrown something away, never worn it again, How many of you believe that, but then will turn around and not believe that you can clear that energy? See, it doesn't work that way. You can't say, and we've all heard the superstition, like, oh, that shirt was bad luck, or that every time I wear those jeans, I hit a barrel. Clear the energy out of them. Take control. Why do you believe that something in this world has the control to make a garment bad luck, but you think you're not powerful enough to drive that bad luck out and turn that into the luckiest item that you... Why? Why are you sleeping on your power? Why do you not harness that? Why do you not believe that God blessed you with the gift to be able to clear the energy around you? Christians will say, I rebuke that, but then turn around and come to me and be like, that's witchcraft. Girl, you were just telling me how you rebuke the shit your neighbor says about you, but then when I talk to you about Palo Santo and selenite, all of a sudden I'm a witch? Okay. I'll take it. Like, let's use all of our brain. Both lobes work. I mean, you can't be slightly superstitious and not believe that you don't harness the power to correct it. I heard somebody the other day say, I'm cursed. And I said, I rebuke that. Oh, yeah, well, listen, people put curses on me all the time. You know how many haters I have? You know how many of those people speak ill of me? Do you know how many of those people probably practice maybe a little witchcraft? You know how many people probably put me in their freezer? You know how many people have probably like done weird... Listen, I vibrate so high. You have to be careful when you do stuff like that to me, because it'll send it back to you so fast and 10 times stronger that it'll wreck your own life. So not only do I believe in the power of just manifesting and having great energy, I believe that people can speak ill on you. I believe that people can send you bad energy, but I also believe that you control the ability to rebuke that and send it back. And I used to say, I just want to neutralize it. I used to neutralize everything. But then that energy, it settles in the world for someone else to pick up. So you know what? I don't neutralize anything. You know what I do? I just send it back. I don't care who sent it to me. I don't care if it was on accident. You're taking that back. And if you trip and karmic law catches you because of the shit you wished on me, guess what? And I'll tell you that somebody said the other day, I'm not under karmic law. I'm under the divine protection of God. And I said, okay. People like that are the scariest people to me, because they believe for some reason that they don't answer for their good or bad, because we're forgiven for our sins. So all the bad things I do are just neutralized because God forgives me. No. Even if you're under the divine law of God and you believe that God let Jesus die for your sins so you're forgiven, being forgiven gets you into the gates of heaven. It doesn't clear the path here on earth for you. That's the problem. Can I get an amen? So all of the shitty shit that you do, but you know what? Karma is also a blessing. Do you know how many times doors have opened for me or paths have been cleared for me because of my good doings? I did things right. Do you think that I am where I sit today because of all of my actions? Yes. And let me tell you what, when I decided to rehome the horses and I decided that I was going to do it from a place of love for the horses, it cleared paths for me that I would have never imagined. It wasn't just because I am God's favorite and he said, you know what, I'm going to take this hood trash over here and bless her. And I tell people all the time that you can complain and complain and complain, but until you take control of the energy you allow in your life, until you take control of the things that you have going on in your life, and you take control of your karmic presence in this world, you will continue to feel like, oh, nothing ever goes right for me. I'll change it. Neutralize that. Send all that negative back to where it came from. And if you are the source of the negative, it's your actions. Because sometimes something bad will happen to me, and baby, nobody cursed me. I told a customer to get a flying fuck, and you know, I probably should have bit my tongue and been decent, and it ended up on the internet, and now I'm being talked about again. I did that. I can't be mad. Yeah, she should have just taken that on the chin and then been like, you know what, I was wrong. So I've always said, like, people want to talk about my reaction, but they never want to talk about their actions. So you treated me stupid. I talked to you stupid. And now you've put it on the internet and I'm having to defend my actions towards you. And then I want to say things like, I just hate that people cannot just handle things between us. No, that's not what people do. People don't do that. What people do when they can't bully you, when they can't push you around, is they go and they enlist a mob of people that want to involve themselves in things that should not matter in their life, to come and try to bully you into seeing it their way, when the truth is you were wrong in the beginning because you tried to get over on me. But I followed up your wrong with the way I spoke to you, and now we're both on the internet fighting back and forth publicly because you chose to bring it public. And that still, I had the option when you approached me with your disrespect to neutralize that and to say, this isn't how it's going to go. Thank you so much for your time. I'm out. I don't have to fight you and tell you to fuck yourself, and I think you're an idiot and you're a motherfucker and I don't want you as a customer and I hope you fly a kite by a power line. I don't have to do those things. So her action got my reaction got another reaction, and now our reactions are online being fought out for the public to see. And then they can say, yeah, well, my reaction of disrespect came from whatever happened. That, yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you can't control things, like the horse that hurt its knee. I couldn't control that shit. Don't be fucking mad that bitch banged her knee up. That's a horse. It's livestock. Well, it should have been in a stall. No, it shouldn't have. It was a $700 killer. It should have been on the kill truck headed for Mexico. So we're never going to see eye to eye on things. But people want to take my reaction to their disrespect and then go online and enlist people to fight. And truthfully, what I'm starting to learn is, and until I learn my lesson and I either allow someone else to handle the public relation portion of things that are going bad, or I either need to let someone else handle them, or I need to learn how to be diplomatic, because it's going to continue. I'm going to continue to be fighting public battles that should have never been public, that should have been handled in private, because the moment that you show me disrespect, I'm going to fuck you. I'm going to tell you to fuck yourself. I'm going to tell you you're a piece of shit. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to show you disrespect. And that is a flaw in me. And it is something that karma keeps showing me. Tara, this isn't right. You're not right. So sometimes we can't blame anybody else for the shit we go through. It's our own fault. And until you learn the lesson, it's going to keep happening to you. It's going to keep fucking happening. I'm going to keep having people post in the hate group until I learn how to tell people that have disrespected me, hey, I feel disrespected right now. We need to revisit this. And I feel like we need to come up with a solution that makes both of us happy. But right now, you're talking to me disrespectfully, and I don't handle disrespect very well. You may be mad. You may not be meaning to disrespect me, but we're going to have to revisit this when we both calm down. And I am learning to explain to people that situations need to be revisited when I've had 24 hours. So please don't think you're being ignored, because what was happening in the past too for me is they would send me some stupid shit like, and the thing is I would go right, this is me. And Jacob can tell when I'm mad, the thumbnails, because I can text without my nails. Like I can text without my nails touching. You know what I'm saying? I've got 34, just so you guys know what my mornings are like. I want you to see right here. I have 31 text and 108. That's my morning. Just so you guys know what I wake up to, that I put aside, and I say at 10:30 in the morning, I'm going to answer this phone. At 10:30 in the morning, this is when this starts. But I don't think any of you guys have ever woke up. I've probably answered 10 text messages this morning. I've probably had 45 text messages total that I woke up to. And 108 voicemails, and those started Friday at 3 o'clock. So from Friday at 3 o'clock to Sunday at 9:55, I have 108 voicemails that need to be answered, but I'm off. I'm not doing this. I'm not calling y'all back. And this is what happens. when I try to remove myself and I don't instantly reply, people get fucking mad. They're like, I know that you have your phone. You're live on Facebook. I've had people say, I've seen you live on Facebook. Why are you not responding to me? Because you are not the most important thing in my life to me. In fact, you're a stranger. You're a complete stranger. And I'm so sorry, but I have this much going on in my life. And creating content is important. It helps pay my bills. That's why I'm live on Facebook. And two, we live in an instant gratification society, and I think it's such a shame because people want an instant reply, and if you don't do that, they feel disrespected. It's no disrespect to you when you send me something and I don't reply to you, even in the same day. Even in the same day. So I've gotten better that at 10:30 in the morning is when I allow this phone to start running my life. And at about 6:30 or 7:30 at night, I turn it back off. And I feel like, and there are times that at 10:30 at night, I'm still replying. And I have an alarm on this phone that at 10:30, it sings a little lullaby and it says, good night, I'm shutting off. And this phone shuts completely off at 10:30 at night. 5 people have this phone number. I can list on one hand the people that have this phone number on the phone. Jacob, Jackie, Tylen, my mom, and Tinley. Well, my mom and dad. So my mom and dad, Tinley, Jacob, Jackie, Tylen have this phone number. I think maybe Teddy has it. I don't know. He still calls me on this phone. And I think maybe, yeah, that might be it. And that's it. That's all the people in the world that I have allowed access to my personal cell phone. This phone number right here, shit. There ain't no telling who has that sumbitch. So the thing that I'm telling you is that I have had to learn to take control of my actions and to not, because what used to happen is I used to wake up and I would dread. I would wake up and I would look down at my phone and there would be 45 text messages. There would be 15 text messages by 6:30 in the morning from people that it's 7:30 in Florida and they're needing their horse hauled or they're needing on the vet. And I would literally just be in such a bad mood that my responses would be horrendous. Well, that's in the buyer's guide. Obviously you didn't read it. Like, can you read the buyer's guide? Because if you did, you would have the answers to these questions. Why am I having to? And I thought to myself, these people are excited, Tara. They've bought these horses from you and you are literally robbing them of their joy by being such a shitty fucking human. But listen, it wasn't them. It was nothing to do with them. It was inside of me. It was inside of me. It was something inside of me that the stress, because stress is a low vibration. And I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times somebody would piss me off and I could feel this little bit of anger come over me and I felt like I had been possessed. Like, has anybody ever gotten so mad that you just, and you start responding? And I'm telling you that now, when I feel that feeling, I know this is not good. My rule now is if something happened on the internet or on text message or through Messenger, and when I picked it up, it sparked that, it's like a light switch. Has anybody ever felt that? Am I the only one? Because it may just be me and I get possessed by a demon, and by God, I need to go talk to a priest, because it's like a light switch. You instantly are like just angry, and like you can feel it, like it's like a little inside of you, and you start, and I'm telling you now, when I feel that, my rule is I turn this phone off. I turn this off. I turn it off. I do not respond. I do not keep reading. Whatever disrespect was shown to me that triggered that, like I'm fixing to fuck your world up verbally, you want to disrespect me, I'm fixing to show your fucking ass disrespect. The moment that something on here triggers me, I just turn the phone off. But that started to become a problem because I would have people that would say, why aren't you responding to me? I've asked you 5 times how to get my horse on the vet's list. And the whole time I'm like, I've had to learn also that 9 out of 10 people are not going to read the buyer's guide. Even though when you check out and you get your receipt, there's a little thing that says terms and conditions through GoDaddy, and you click your receipt and those terms and conditions lay out that you agreed to before you paid for that horse, and it clearly states the buyer's guide plus a link to the buyer's guide. So if you go to court, I can say they paid and here's their receipt, and attached was the terms and conditions they refused to read, which are not my problem. That used to trigger me. Like, I understand what they mean by it triggers you, because it's like instantly something in life triggers a reaction, a response. It's like your vibration instantly hits rock bottom and you just fly the doors open for any spirit, demon, whatever to come in and just make you a fucking monster. You're triggered. People with PTSD, me, whoever, whatever, it's like an action can trigger unbelievable reactions in you that you feel like you can't control. Learning to control yourself instead of react is the single hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I swear to God. Like, I am struggling to learn how to control my mouth and my responses. Like, I'm telling you, this is where I am in life right now. Like, I am learning how to be a decent human. What? Like, but it is hard. Like, when somebody, I just want to tell people that ask me questions that were, and then I have to remember, and this is what I've been telling myself. I know enough about psychology to understand that people's actions have nothing to do with me. It's who they are, and I just need to be understanding. So when a lady messages me and she's like, hey, I'm trying to get my horse on the vet's list, and I also need you to find me transportation, and I need this, I want to respond and say, like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, did you not read the buyer's guide? And now I just say, hey, thank you so much for being such a responsible horse owner. Like, yes, the vet work is super important. You go to crockettvet.com. Also, we have a buyer's guide that you might want to review, because it definitely can answer a lot of questions you might have, since obviously this was a lapse in communication that maybe you haven't read that. Here's the link to that. Also, as far as transportation goes, we have a list of transport services on our website, and you can scroll through those and make some calls. I would hate to arrange the transportation for you and find that I accidentally arranged the highest quote possible. And it might be better if you call around, because you might be able to get a fill rate from somebody else instead of just my go-to, and it'll save you a bunch of money. I hope you have a really good day. Like, thank you so much. By the way, your horse is doing fantastic, and I know that he is so ready to get home to you and just be part of your family. That's my response. Where before my response was anger. I don't know why the fuck that made me angry. Can you imagine a customer texting you that they need, and it was something wrong with me. Like, it was just something inside of me. I think it was just like a little demon. You know, like, the devil likes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I think that the stress allows my vibration to come down to allow some negative entity in. And so it was like maybe from 10 years ago when I started this, I used to get so frustrated when people didn't read the buyer's guide. It just snowballed into an effect that anytime anybody would ask me questions that were answered in the buyer's guide, I was instantly defensive and wanted to react in a way that was really inappropriate. Like, I was angry at my own customer for asking me questions. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, that's fucking stupid, Tara. Like, are you special? A little bit. It took me 10 years to realize that was fucking stupid. Yeah. I don't know what was wrong with me. Other than when I realized that it was wrong with me, I felt really ashamed and really embarrassed and thought, man, how many people have I kind of snipped at that was totally uncalled for? You know, like, there's such an appropriate way to answer this stuff. So just know, like, as I preach to you guys and talk to you guys about what y'all need to do, girl, I'm living it. I'm living it. I mean, I have literally had to learn how to handle customer service without being triggered by things that should never trigger me, by people that are not meaning to trigger me. But let's fast forward to people who do mean to trigger me. I've also sold 3,100 horses last year, and I can count on both hands the bad deals that I had. Now, people can say, I haven't done 10 bad horse deals in my entire life, Tara. Yeah, but you haven't sold 3,100 horses in your entire fucking life. Okay, Helen? Like, I sold 3,100 horses to the public last year, and I'm going on, Jacob and I totaled it up last night, and we've done like 1,800 and some change this year. Think about it. That's a fucking lot. That's a lot. That's 5,000 horses in the last like year and a half. 5,000. So I'm gonna, by statistics, I'm gonna sell some horses to some bad buyers. And everybody wants to talk about bad sellers, but my God, there are some shit fucking buyers out there. They want NFR Scamper for feedlot Clayton, New Mexico scamper price, and then they are mad as fuck when they get it home and it is literally not what they wanted. And I'm like, huh, you know? So you're just gonna have people that don't want to put the work in. They get it home and they've worked with it for a week and it's not a saint, and I'm like, none of them are. But you have to be a good horseman. I mean, look at Squirt. People were like just complimenting our flying lead changes. Did you know that for the first 6 months of owning Squirt, every time you ask for a flying lead change, he would try to buck you off? Do you know how many times that horse has throwed down with me? And do you know that I had to try to decide, is it pain? Is it attitude? What is it? And so I took him to the osteopath, and he had a gilding scar where he had been gilded later in life, and we got that loose, and we adjusted a couple of things, and then he still did it. And then I thought, okay, well, is it trauma mental, like he was used to hurting? And I don't think he was hurting too bad. X-rayed his hocks, X-rayed his stifles, X-rayed his back. We did his front, we X-rayed the knees. We did, because he gets a little angry with his tail, and I thought, okay. So I'm telling you, I spent $2,000 or $3,000 in like X-rays, vet work, everything, and he's still. And you know what we finally decided is that Squirt has the ego of an elephant, that big, in this little person body. And when I started to realize that somebody had wore spurs, he has some divots in his side. When you bathe him, you can see them, and they're scars from spurs. They're scars from where somebody has spurred him so hard that it damaged the meat in his torso, around his rib cage. That's how hard somebody spurred him. That's how hard somebody spurred him. So I wear little bitty spurs. I take them completely off when I ride him. I ride him one-handed. And if you even notice when I did my lead change, I never swapped hands. And immediately when I did the lead change and he did a beautiful flying lead change and he went to immediately switch back over, I held him with my rein, picked him up, held him, carried him just a couple of steps to show him, I don't want you to switch this lead. And what I've had to learn with Squirt is to be very, very, very centered in my seat and quiet, and all the bucking and all the nastiness still hasn't stopped. And let me tell you why. When I pet him on the neck and he can tell that I get the real centered seat and I mean business, I can get him to do flying lead changes. He'll spin. He can dance in place. Squirt can do anything in the world for me. But when I lope off, he still might buck. And listen, he's never bucked anybody off. But the other day I was like, try Jesus, not me. You know the song, it's on my TikTok, because I spun him around, went to spin him the other direction, and he started bucking. Squirt is arrogant, and he told the horse psychic that he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's funny to not do what I say. Like, Squirt, the amount of love that I poured into him, and he's still like a little teenage boy, just thinks it's funny sometimes to not do what I say. So, how did I get off on Squirt? I can just tell you that I posted the videos of me riding him, and yeah, like, if people only knew how much work has been poured into that incredible little lead change that's just so effortless, and his spins, and I mean, Squirt's not easy. Like, everybody that watches my videos would kill to have a Squirt, but nobody wanted to get bit and kicked and assaulted and bucked with, and oh God, like, my own farrier called me out on social media where I said, when I say, this is my little angel, and then the farrier said, yeah, even Lucifer was an angel. And literally Austin said, Squirt, ... And I'm like, don't be calling my baby out like that. And everybody that rides Squirt, even Teddy rode him, and he was like, man, he is an arrogant little prick. He was like, ugh. But Squirt is the kind of horse that if you get mad and you whip him and you reprimand him, he'll blow the fuck up. That horse will hurt you. He can't take an ass whipping. He can't take being jerked and run backwards. He can't take you spurring him. Somebody pushed him to the point that he fought back in his life. Somebody pushed Squirt to the point that he fought back. So now guess what? I have to remember that demon is inside there. Just like me, you have to remember that the hood that carried a gun, that slung the drugs, that dated the drug dealer, it's still, I mean, that's still a part of my past. So with Squirt, I get it. Like, somebody spurred him, beat him, and whipped him to the point that he got so aggressive he fought back. So now we have to have a love language of communication, and it's not been easy. I can't tell you how many people he's run out of his stall. I've had people that have quit over Squirt. Squirt chased them out of the pen. Listen, at one point, he chased Dara and, like, attacked her. Got her by the coveralls, chased after her, grabbed her by the coveralls. And I'm telling you, I can tell when somebody's energy around me ain't right, because Squirt will fucking do work. And I'm like, Squirt, no, put the gangster down. I mean, I've had people recently that he chased out of his stall, ears back, like gonna get him. And I had to think to myself as I walked up to him and pet him, it's like a dog. Why is my dog growling at you? Why is my dog trying to attack you? Why is my sweet lover boy that will let me massage his jaws while he licks my boobs chasing you out of the stall? And I've learned he's never wrong. He's never wrong. Jess couldn't go in the pen with him. Elizabeth got to where she couldn't go in the pen with him. He got to where if Dara didn't carry something to keep him back, and I'm gonna tell you, when the energy changes with Squirt, I know there's something. I just keep him in the barn now, and I pay attention. When you can no longer go in Squirt's stall, I think that it's probably time for you to find a new job. I love him. Can you guys tell that that's just my homie? But what I'm telling you guys is, what if I would have said the second week that Squirt was at my house, this motherfucker is an asshole. He bites, he kicks. And you know what I said? I'm going to fundraise because I am scared to sell this horse to anybody. He's going to keep ending up in the sell barn. I'm going to fundraise an astronomical amount of money to buy this horse from Jacob so that he never leaves my property for his own safety. And we put months. And I'll tell you, Desi, when she worked for me, she put time in. Desi and Squirt had a good relationship till they didn't. And that's the God's honest truth. When I got out of the hospital, it was just mentioned that he had gotten a little ugly. But she put time into it. When he first got there, I will absolutely commend her, because she would go in the stall and she gave him balls. And the energy that she had at my property up until I had COVID was incredible. And I will always be very, very grateful for the time that she put into my facility. And I don't know what happened when I had COVID. You know what? I've thought about this lately, and I think that the devil was attacking my family. I really do. I think the devil was attacking my family. My dad had a heart attack. I got COVID and almost died. Jacob got COVID. My daughter was sick. My father-in-law ended up in the hospital. You know, he's got a brain tumor. He had a stroke. My 40, she's probably 45. My 45-year-old sister-in-law had a stroke. And all of this was happening. And then when I get out of the hospital, my property is like got really bad energy, and Desi can't keep help. And as I look at it and look back at it now, I think that it was probably the time in my life where there was the most spiritual warfare going on in my life. And I just was too naive in my spiritual journey to know that that's what was going on. And I absolutely believe that as of the point that that spiritual warfare started, we just all took different paths. Like, I think that if I would have known then what I know today, I think I would have told Desi, let's go, let's, you and I take a weekend and go to a shaman. We need to clear our energy and get our mind back right, and then come back to this and do it correctly, because she was an incredible person at my facility. And I think that that was just a lot of stress, and people were coming and not staying. And so she wasn't really keeping help, and Joe had gotten sick. But I look at it now, and I know that the devil was present, like that negative vibration. And it was just, I was sick, and when you get sick, you're vibrating low, and it just opened my world up. And I'm going to tell you that when I was meditating on that the other night, I just had such profound forgiveness, such profound, like totally forgave, totally feel like these actions were so out of character for her these actions were so out of character for her. This is somebody been in my life 7 months that I would have killed for, and I get out of the hospital and my place is like in shambles. The horses are thin, she is stressed out, can't keep help. And after I restaffed and my next staff came, I made the mistake of not clearing the energy off of my property. So then the next staff that I hired came in fresh, and I could just slowly see the draining. And you know what? One thing that Tylen and I did, and that Jackie and I have done, is we cleared the energy off of my property. We planted Arapaho obsidians on the corner of my property. Literally did like shaman work, and I did singing bowls in both barns, and just got all of that negative stagnant energy back to wherever it came from and away from my property and out of my life. And it's something that I had stopped doing for the horses. I used to always do the selenite and clear their energy and call back to them whatever was rightfully theirs. And I'm going to tell you, I did that for Squirt about a month ago. I just cleared, and I had never done this for him. I cleared all of that horse's negative energy and called back to him his truest form. And that horse's personality is back out. Him and I are just vibing. It's so fantastic. And I'm telling you, while I might be the weirdest motherfucker you've ever met in your life, if you will just listen to me when I tell you it is important, worry about your energy. And if things in your life with people are going really bad, instead of cutting that person off, instead of attacking that person or feeling attacked by that person, I'm learning I should have sat down with Desi and told her, what I'm witnessing here is not something I expect from you. I feel disrespected. I feel crazy, but I know this isn't like you. Like you, and Jacob has even said a million times he doesn't understand what happened because she took such great care of my horses up until that point. It was like the light switch. We all got super fucking sick. She was a little sick. Her boys got COVID. Joe got COVID. I'm telling you, the devil absolutely stepped foot on that place and wreaked fucking havoc. And me not being where I am spiritually today allowed it to happen. I allowed it to break a friendship that I thought was like family. I allowed it to make me turn on somebody and feel attacked. But listen, I turned on them because I was seeing their actions towards me. You know, like, why are the horses? And like, I should have had that conversation with her and then gone public and said, everybody at my property has had COVID. I've almost died. Literally, they called a priest in. They called my mom and dad, told my mom and dad I more than likely wouldn't make it. My father would FaceTime me. And I remember for the first 6 or 7 days being in the hospital, just laying there with one eye open, and my dad just sobbing on FaceTime, telling me, like, you've got to get better, like, you can't leave. Like, my dad is just an emotional wreck. He cannot handle this, like, you know. And I just remember laying there and not caring. I was so fucking sick that if God would have checked me out, I could have handled it because my body was dying. My body was dying. It was that bad. I was that sick. Jacob will tell you when he left the hospital before I did, he cried the whole way home. And Desi is who drove him, and she can tell you he cried the whole way home because he thought that was it. I mean, and Jacob physically couldn't come back to the hospital and visit me because he couldn't save me, and it just wrecked him. And I took it personal because he never came and visited me in the hospital. Like, after he got out, I was there 10 or 12 more days, and I checked out of the hospital before I forced them to release me as soon as I got on room oxygen, like I could have the note, like a regular room cantilator and a thing, because I just kept telling myself, I've got to get out of the hospital. This is where people come to die, and I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of the hospital. I got home, and it was a month before, 3 weeks before I got to see Tinley, and I remember when I saw her feeling some kind of way. And now that I look back on it, I can just tell you, like, the devil had absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, walked into my life and wreaked complete fucking havoc a year ago, to the point that it turned my entire facility upside down. It was August 13th. I was not supposed to be released until August 23rd. That was my set date, that as of the point I was on, like, normal oxygen, that they felt like I could be released. The set date was August 23rd. I made them release me 10 days early. Dr. Brown fought it, and finally I told him, we have two options here. My insurance will not pay you. They will not pay you. if I check myself out. They're going to stick it on me. And I'm not. I'm just telling you. So we have two options. And he said, I tell you what, this was like 2 days before that. He said, if you can get to where you remain at 90 on 40% oxygen, because I can send you home on 40% oxygen, I will release you. And do you know that for the next 2 days, all I did were my breathing treatments, open myself up, and I would turn YouTube on. I would turn YouTube on to singing bowls and healing music, and I would sit and sit up straight to where my lungs, and I would just breathe and meditate being healed. And when the morning of the 13th rolled around, he was like, I still do not feel comfortable. He said, I tell you what, he said, when you leave here, even on 40% oxygen, if anything happens and the tank fails, where you guys live is so far away from a hospital, you could die before you could get to a hospital. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all the oxygen off of you. He said, it is 8 o'clock in the morning. He said, I'll be back at noon. And if that still says 90, when I come back at noon, I'll prep you to leave at 5 o'clock today. They take the oxygen. I go from 40% to none. And I'm telling you, as soon as he left, I turned the singing bowls on and I was meditating, deep breathing, and I sat in that bed and deep breathed, and I had to pee. And I knew, I opened one eye and I thought, all right, I'm at 93. I am cruising at 93% oxygen right now with no help. Been cruising for 2 hours like this, but this bitch has to pee. And I knew when I got out of that bed and walked to the bathroom and came back, I was going to have a fucking problem, because it's different when you exert yourself. Swing those legs out, stand up, drops to 85. And I'm like, breathe, baby, breathe. And I like tootle to the bathroom, I pee. And on the way back, I'm seeing stars. I get in the bed, put the thing back on, and I'm at like 82. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, breathe, breathe, breathe. I get it right back up to above 90 super fast. And I sit there. So he comes back at noon, and I tell him, and he said, listen, if I never believed it. He said, I'm going to make them do and they dug at my wrist. He said, I don't know. I just don't believe this. I'm not buying it. There's no way that you're staying above 90. He said, I'm going to leave it off till 2 o'clock, but I'm going to send Julio up, and he's going to take blood from your, and bone marrow, and I want to send them in. And so they did a bone scraping, and they took blood from this artery or whatever, and it's the most painful thing I've ever been through, to make sure that the blood levels were truthfully that high, because Dr. Brown never believed in a million years that I could keep my oxygen levels above 90 without any, because I mean, my chest x-rays upon leaving were still like nothing you've ever seen. I mean, I left with chest x-rays bad enough that a doctor would have told you that you might not make it. And those were what I left with. So anyway, he just was a man of his word. So at 5 o'clock, he went ahead and had all my release papers ready. They got all the oxygen ready. They sent me home on a tank, that you pull along, and I had the little backpack oxygen for 30 days. It was awful. But I got home the evening, I think the 13th or the 15th. I can't remember if it was the 13th that I was released, or if that's the day that he said 2 days. It's kind of a blur. Anyway, so I get home middle of August, and I go inside, and I was inside about a week before I could really get up and around outside. And I'm just telling y'all, that when I finally went outside, I felt so disappointed. It was like probably the 20th of August. And it was the very 1st of September when I let my staff go, because at that point I had been going outside for 10 days and I just kept feeling more and more disrespected. I just kept seeing the stalls were not clean, the water buckets were filthy, the horses were not being fed correctly. And at that point I stopped and I said, where's the grain? Like, I've been sending money. And it was just mentioned, well, we didn't want to bother you with that when we ran out. And I said, so you've just been feeding hay in the middle of summer? it wasn't a financial issue. It wasn't I couldn't send them to go get it. It was that for some reason. And then I look back on it now and I think to myself, like, having that mentality isn't something that would have just, like, I hope that makes sense. Like, the devil can just fog your view. Like, they didn't want to bother me when they ran out of grain. I don't know what to say about that. So anyway, I restaffed, but I look back on those moments and I can see how those things were so out of character, how it was just such an attack on my facility, on me, and on my relationships, and how I didn't handle it the way that I should have, as somebody that should have showed love, compassion, kindness. Like, you're so stressed. This has been really hard on you. It's clearly hard on you that you're not even making good, rational thoughts. Like, does that make sense, you guys? I hope that makes sense. Like, that was out of character for her. I can tell you that that's not her natural character. That's not something that I would have ever expected. And how does somebody go for 7 months being fantastic to this? Because the devil absolutely attacked my facility, my relationships. I almost died. Like, by the grace of God, I didn't. But I hope that you guys learn something from this as I'm sitting down meditating on all the things in my life that went bad and how I'm having to just be forgiving and to realize that I don't ever think in a million years that the person that came to work for me and the person today are the same. I do think that something happened, and as my family was being attacked and all that energy shift happened, like, some of us take time to meditate and realize, like, this isn't okay. This needs to be corrected. And I also understand how somebody could be such a big part of my life and love me. And then when that time came and I felt disrespected. I was mortified. I felt like somebody that I would have killed for was disrespecting me in the highest form by not taking care of my property to the best of their ability. But in the same breath, when you become overwhelmed and all of this is going on and you're being mentally and spiritually attacked, you're thinking